Yes, indeed. I had my mic muted. I'm glad I caught it. I didn't want to talk for 2 minutes and not be heard. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Lancescurv Show. We're going to have a nice, fun one tonight. That's how we're going to do it. Let me just check my different modules, making sure everything is going through right. We're going to jump right into it. 10 things the younger generation needs to know about dating. It should be 20 things the older generation needs to know about dating. I'm not just going to throw off on young people. I'm emphasizing younger people, but I'm not just saying it's just them, because we got a lot of old, look, I'm going to say it. We got a lot of old fools out here, male and female, who do some stupid things. Incorrected. Now, I'm not going to say I know everything, because I've done some stupid things in my life. So I'm speaking to myself also. But I'm kind of sort of out of the game, one might think, at this particular age. But there are a lot of people who are single and some who are not. And these rules don't apply to them. But this is for any age, you can pretty much say. I hope you all are having a good weekend. I had a good weekend. I know I'm having a good weekend. In my Sweet Berry 32, Diane, welcome. Glad to see you all here as usual. I kind of pulled this one out and didn't broadcast this as much. I want to tell everybody to go to Substack and sign up. I have the link below in the description. I'm going to be doing a lot of things there that you don't see on YouTube. Because see, YouTube like to choke your neck and take your stuff down, but you can't do it when it's on Substack. So now I know where I'm going. Hey, like the slaves, they got freed and went up north. I'm going up north. I'm going to where I can't be touched. But that was a big lie. Racism is everywhere, right? And it's a good thing. You know, I'll be doing a lot of things there. And I imported my whole email list. So I need your email. I need your email. Even if you don't go there, send me the email to lance@lancescurv.com. Send me your email via WhatsApp. Any way that you can contact me, give me your email. I want your email. Like a crackhead wants crack. I want your email. Because that way we can never be out of contact directly. We're building a community, y'all. It can't be on some compromise. Oh, and I got to tell you something else too before we get into it. How did this work now? Can I pull this up? No, wait. Maybe I can. I took a picture of it and I sent it to someone. Let me see if I can go through. Oh, is this it? Yeah, that's it. Now, how do I put my WhatsApp down? Yeah, let me put my WhatsApp back up. I hit Rumble by mistake. I'm not trying to go to Rumble. Wow. But I had a good weekend this weekend, y'all. Ate good, rested good, focused, ready for February to bump things up a little better. What I'm doing with the game plan, and it's successful so far. Let's roll out some good content. Now, this is what I want to do. I got to scroll up. I got to do it the retarded way because I'm on camera and I'm okay now. What do I do with this now? Do I download this? Yeah, I download this. I'm gonna put this up on the screen, y'all. Give me a second. Did I download this? Yeah. Let's download this. This should be it. Okay. Let me check. Now, let me go into this program. Bear with me, everybody. Bear with me. I really want to show you what people are doing. I want to explain this and make this perfectly clear. The internet is a dirty place. It's a dirty place, y'all. They're doing some evil things out here. Now, let me see if I can find this. I got so many things saved. You know, I got to go through my computer. I got so many like older things saved because I'm like, oh, I'll clean it up tomorrow. Clean it tomorrow. There it is. Whoop, there it is. Okay, this is going to show up probably in front of my face, but you all know what I look like. Okay, here it is. There it is. Okay, look at this. This doesn't make sense to you. I'm going to read it off to you. Let me kind of scoot over here so you can see me. Not that you have to. I'm letting you into my world, y'all. This is crazy. I have to always show receipts, right? Rumble. Notice to users in France. Because of French government demands to remove creators from our platform, Rumble currently unavailable, or Rumble is currently unavailable in France. We are challenging these government demands and hope to restore access soon. Well, what does it have to do with me? Well, it has a lot to do with me because the French government is trying to stop me and so many other creators, not just me now. So I'm not saying like I'm some big Willie. I'm just a regular guy, just a regular old SCURV. But I was chosen to be blocked. Well, how did they block me? Well, I attempted to get onto Rumble to get in the background and tweak some things. But remember, I have a VPN. If you don't know what a VPN is, I'm in Ghana, right? The countries and different websites that block Ghana, they block Nigeria, they block China, whatever reason they have to block it. So the VPN allows me to. Now, most of you all know this. I have to say it though. VPN, what are you talking about? VPN? That's a medication or something? No. The VPN allows me to go in and appear as though I'm in a different country so I can get in. There was a fight, a big fight that they had in the Ukraine, but it was only for citizens of the Ukraine. I'm telling my business now, right? And I went through I couldn't get in. It was limited on the internet, but using my VPN, it will mask my identity to appear that I'm in the Ukraine using a server that's in the Ukraine so I can watch the fight. That's how it works. So now I didn't realize it, but my VPN had automatically went to a server in France. So I appeared as though I was trying to go through, and appear as though I'm there. But they had something set up where, old SCURV, you're not getting through. Why? Why'd they do this to me? Well, anybody talking about Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore, the president, how he kicked the French out, nah, we kicked you out. They didn't like that because they don't want any information going out bad about France. France doesn't want any information going out bad about them, no, they can't have it. And this is the game they play. Not just France, the United States does it, China does it. Most countries do it. They will stop you from, if they think, so that's what it was. So I took my VPN and went back to the United States to appear as though I'm in the United States. So I got on Rumble. So that's why I'm streaming now on Rumble also. But they did that. They demanded that Rumble block certain people. So if I'm in France, they got me. If I leave, you don't have me. I just wanted to share that. Just want to share that little bit of information. Say hello to my little friend. The VPN, technology wars, it goes deeper than that. So governments watch people. They don't want something bad said about them beyond their control. Their little feelings are hurt. So what? I don't care. I don't care. Let me see here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, there's nobody new. It's just us here. So let me get into it. Let me get into the first point, which on the banner I said, are you confusing lust for love? That's the first point that I actually want to talk about, but that's not the title of the show. Again, the title of the show, 10 things the younger generation needs to know about dating. Okay. Too many into relationships based on emotion, passion, and lust, only to find themselves stuck in situations they never imagined. The excitement fades, the problems surface, and before they know it, they're left with heartbreak, regret, and in some cases, life-altering consequences like unplanned pregnancies or toxic entanglements. Remember that song by Candy Staten back in the 70s? If you're old enough, young hearts run free, never get caught up like my man and me. Dun, dun, dun. She made songs like that. And the other song, when you wake up tomorrow, will you regret the things you said tonight? That's real music. Candy State, yo, go. That was 78. I love that song. It had an urgency about it. When you wake up tomorrow, will you forget the things you said tonight? They don't even talk like that now with music. What lyrics? Right? Young hearts run free, never get caught up like my man and me. That's like that older auntie who's giving advice. We see the problem is we don't have enough older aunties giving advice. Dating isn't just about the thrill of the moment. It's about long-term compatibility, shared values, and emotional maturity. If you don't take the time to truly understand who you're dealing with, you might find yourself trapped in a situation that could have been avoided with wisdom and patience. So just like on the banner, let's just say it. Lust is not love. Attraction can be powerful, but it is not a foundation for a lasting relationship. Many confuse sexual chemistry with true emotional connection, jumping into relationships based on how someone makes them feel in the moment, horny. When that initial fire burns out, they realize they never truly knew the person they got involved with. What happens when you ignore this? You wake up one day feeling trapped in a relationship with someone whose personality, values, life goals don't align with yours. By then, you may have already invested too much emotionally, physically, or even financially to walk away easily. It's not easy, y'all. But see, that thing starts telling you, young ladies, you start seeing this cute guy. Oh, he has such a nice six pack and he told me he loved me and all this stuff. Young girls get horny too. Let's just be real. And a lot of parents out here are in denial about their daughters. I'm not just blaming the daughters now, but the daughter is the one that's going to carry that child for 9 months. And no, there's such a saint. And they always put that saint face to you. Mommy, oh, that's my love. Look, when you fast asleep, I'm not saying all daughters, I'm saying some. You got to sit down and talk to them about these things. And that's the problem, because right now, this is 2025, right? Isn't this something? 24 years ago was 911. Let's just say 2000 was 25. You got some folks that are 23 and 24, already got 2, 3, 4 babies already. And they were born yesterday. To me, it was yesterday. But we forget the passage of time. And we forget that what our youngsters are being exposed to right now. They go on the same phone. They're curious. So while you may see something, go, look at that, man. Because you know the deal about life, they don't know. And they're like, ooh, I want to try this out with my boyfriend. Or the boyfriend saying, I want to try this out with my girlfriend. Or some dude saying, I want to try this out with a dude. But that's not what this show is about. Two sexes, male and female. Look, if you don't like Donald Trump, you gotta agree with him on that, right? But we don't take enough time. And you end up in situations. I know young ladies who have wrecked themselves because of this feeling. And young men who have wrecked their lives up. When you get aroused, you'll tolerate a whole lot of things because you have something going on in your head that doesn't really exist when it's just based on lust. See, lust is like a jump starter, right? Lust in a healthy relationship is all right. Not all. It can't be all lust, but it's a jump start. The brother man, he's got his woman. He's laying in the bed and he sees her bending over to pick something up. He's like, ooh. He is not sexually attracted to a woman because of her knowledge of the stock market. He is not sexually attracted to a woman because she's so morally upright. I mean, yeah, that's part of it. That's what you want. But when it comes down to the basic animalistic desires, you don't mind that spark jumping off because you know that you have a full relationship and you checked off all the boxes. So now we can do this. And she doesn't mind a little pat on the backside or something because she knows that you love her and she checked off all the boxes with you. that will allow you to get even more freaky within the context of a healthy relationship. Can we get freaky tonight? A healthier sexual relationship. But when it's some pookie or ray that you just met at the club or met at the bus stop, or he talked to you sweet, or you were hot in the drawers, either one of you, and you're going to try to construct a love thing and lie to yourself about this love thing. No, you all were horny, you were hot in the pants, and that's what did it. And nobody wants to fess up to that. I was younger too. Old as I am, every now and then I get kind of horny sometimes. It never stops. Even when the physical slows down, you got that thing going on up here. How many times have we seen some old dude walking with a cane, right? And we sitting in the park car watching him. And this woman, young woman, nice shape, walks by. She's not paying no mind. She might even say hi to him. Oh, hi, Pops. He ain't think about being no Pops. As soon as she walks by, he's got his cane. He turned around and said, look at that thing. He can't do nothing to unrock a world, but it's in his head. And so that thing in your head never stops. It never stops. Let's go to the next point. Let me go off my notes here because I jotted these down. My memory is not as good. Take time to truly know the person. A person can only pretend for so long before their true nature starts to show. Spend enough time observing how they act in different situations, when they're angry, under pressure, or around family and friends. What happens when you ignore this? You end up committed to someone whose character flaws were obvious from the start, but you ignored the signs. Whether it's dishonesty, irresponsibility, or emotional instability, by the time you see the truth, you might already be in too deep. Ain't that something? By the time you learn the truth, and there's no amount of how can I put? There's no amount of love will overcome, and because it ain't really love. How can you love something you don't know? If you don't know this person, how you gonna love them? You see a car on the street. Oh wow, it's a pretty car, nice rims, shiny. I can hear the sound system. I love that car. How do you know? Until you do a test drive. For a long time. If you don't know yourself, how are you going to know the person? How are you going to know what you like, what you're into? That's why they call it dating. Dating is to sample the energies of many. It doesn't mean you're sleeping. So many people think that dating means a four-letter word. Or now they try to soften up the younger kids. They've been doing this for like the last 10, 15 years. Like the girls will say, oh, I used to talk to him. And you got pregnant. Why do we soften up and frame things in a way to deny? I used to talk to him. Really? Okay. And you were burping his babies all the time. And I don't mean burping. You don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go to the next point, y'all. It's crazy. Know their family and background. A person's upbringing can tell you a lot about their values, conflict resolution skills, and how they'll treat you in a long-term relationship. Dysfunctional family dynamics often repeat in relationships. So don't ignore the environment they came from. What happens when you ignore this? I need to make a shirt. What happens when you ignore this? or draw a picture with a situation, right? You may find yourself in a relationship with someone who carries deep-seated emotional baggage, which will eventually impact your connection. Worse, if their family is toxic, controlling, or chaotic, you might have to deal with their drama for the rest of your life. You hear me? For the rest of your life. So you better observe that family. Because that's that potential mate's root, right? I mean, if a woman is used to seeing her father come home drunk and beat the wife, the mother, then that is normalcy for her. She may consciously not want that. People would say, I hate this about my father. I'm going to get a man who is different. I don't want a man like my father, but still that dysfunction is what she's used to. This is what people don't understand. So when she gets older and she gets the nice, kind, loving guy, 9 times out of 10, and I know I'm not wrong because I've been nice to certain women, dating and whatever have you, and they didn't get down with me. They didn't really like me too much. Until one of them one time, and I'm not saying like it was 10 of them one time, but over the years when I was a young man, Lance, you're too nice. Why don't you grab my hair? Why don't you, I'm not going to get too lewd, Joe. Why don't you bend me over and just be rough with me? And I never understood like, okay, no, I understand that part now. And she got what she wanted, right? But I didn't know her family. And when I met her family, it wasn't some relationship really. It was a situationship. And I found out that the father was very rough with the mother. I don't think he was a drunk. That was her first example of manhood. So we have a lot of analyzing to do with who we are and our upbringing and why we are the way we are. Let me tell you something. My dear life coach, I'll call her, my dear sister, who I call Customato, Matthew White, welcome on in. Amir, goatee style. I never forget that. I see goats out here. I think about you, brother, in that joke, right? But, you know, and I forgot what I was about to say. What was the point I was about to say? Well, like I said, check out the family, y'all. The family will tell you a lot about that trajectory because there are very few Marilyn Munsters that come from the Munsters. I remember the show with Fred Gwynn. He played Herman Munster and all of them vampires, ghouls, whatever, the whole family. And Marilyn Munster was the normal looking one. Well, she was a white woman and everything, but she was supposed to be pretty and normal, but she was part of the Munsters, Marilyn Munster. Now, symbolically, there are a lot of people who seem well adjusted and can deal, and you go home and meet their family, they're a bunch of creeps, dysfunctional weirdos and creeps. So we got to be careful. You just can't go on looks alone. I mean, how many of us know, and I'm not just saying this as ladies, this goes for men, but I'm a man, so I always lean towards speaking about women. I'm not bashing women, y'all. You all know that I love my sisters. Now, how many of you all have ever seen, let's just make this up, I'm coming up with something, right? Like a woman who on a job, it's a corporate job, she has a cubicle, everything is neat, everything is nice. You drive past the house, you drop her home, you see a house, the lawn is kept nice, everything's trimmed up. And then one day you drop her off and she really doesn't invite you inside, but maybe you have to use the bathroom. You say, listen, I got to drop you off. Oh, you can come on in. And this neat woman, you go in there, there's clothes piled up, dishes all in the sink. Now she's by herself, no family, no kids. The place is smelling, garbage is packed up. I knew somebody that when she opened up her refrigerator, I was sitting by the kitchen table, right? Opened up the refrigerator, there were plates in the refrigerator with mold growing off of the plate. Mold, y'all, this tall. You didn't want to wash your dish, so you stuck it in the fridge. That's when I had to go to the store. Anybody who knows me knows what I mean by I went to the store. That means I never came back. But then I say, oh, you know, I got to get some cough syrup for my friend on the way. They're going to close soon. Listen, I got to go to the store and I got to go to the pharmacy. I'll be right back. You want something from out there? It's bad because it wasn't coming. Yeah, give me some cheese doodles. All right, let me get you. I'm gone. I'm not doing it. And when you see this function in any way with the person you're trying to date or red flags, run, 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 run. Do run, 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 and do run, run. You better run. Next point. Observe how they handle responsibility. How does this person manage their finances, their job, their commitments? Do they follow through on promises or do they make excuses? If they can't handle their own life, they're not ready to build one with you. I like this. What happens when you ignore this? I got to make that a theme here on the show. You may end up financially supporting someone who refuses to take responsibility. Over time, their lack of discipline will weigh heavily on you, turning what was once love into resentment, y'all. How many times have we seen that? We see people get along in the beginning so nice, and after a while, it's resentment. I mean, when I used to drive the bus, I used to hear all kinds of conversations. I wasn't even trying to hear them, but they sit right across you, behind you, and you hear some things. I've actually seen two people meet. They were younger, they were in their early 20s. They met, they had the most wonderful conversation and exchanged numbers. 2 years later, they had a child. 3 years later, they had two children. And in the beginning, they were lovey-dovey with each other. But after a while, they resented each other. And I would see them. See, people forget that when you drive a bus and you're up and down, you're scanning the neighborhood. So you see passengers that ride with you all the time, but you see them walking down the street, going to the store. They're not always on the bus, but you see them and they don't see you because the bus driver is usually invisible. You don't go, oh, look, there's the bus driver. No, you say, oh, there's the bus. You're not looking for the driver unless you know one personally or have some type of dealing with them. So after about three and a half years, you see her pushing the carriage, the double carriage, and you see him with an attitude walking, just mad, walking in front of her. Well, they had a fight, an argument, obviously, right? But this was consistent every time you saw them. And one time they got on the bus. He sat in the back, she sat in the front, and they had an argument on the bus, and I had to cool it. I'm like, man, I remember when they first met, and it was just so beautiful. But you just never know. You never know what's on people's hearts and what's in their mind. Let's get to the next point. Oh, responsibility. Let me just say this. I knew of somebody who got with somebody, right? And the talk was good. The guy was all of that. And they were about to get married. He worked a job. And so they were going to buy a vehicle or something. No, they were going to go rent a place. They planned on buying a place. So they were doing background checks and stuff. They had to, run their credit. So when they ran the credit, he never told her that he was paying child support for 3 different children, and his credit score was jacked. He messed up with a car twice. He had bills, credit cards that he didn't pay. And I mean, that thing was spitting out paper of his debts. She was like, the kids thing messed her up. So basically, she was going to have to take care of him with all the debts that he had. And not only that, she was going to inherit the debts. So when somebody is looking good and talking slick, find out about them. Again, this is what dating is for. To find out the energies of people so that you know in the future, because it's not serious, of what you like and what you don't like, and not about like, but what you will not tolerate. And hopefully you build up some type of standing with yourself, a standing and a standard, so that you won't tolerate less and let lust take over. And now you begin to compromise because that thing is feeling so good. That little thing he does feels so good and it blows your mind. And speaking about sex, this is why when you're dating, it's not about sex. How do you know in the box of candies which candy you like? There's no way of knowing. So you try. I don't like that one. Now see, when you're an adult, you go ahead and eat it, but you know you don't like it. When you're a little kid, you're looking around and then you wrap it up and put it back in the box. And later on, somebody comes and gets a half-bitten piece of candy. You got to know what it is. So how are you going to know unless you sample the energies? It doesn't have to be when you go to the movies or go to a club or go to a restaurant. It'd be expensive. Hey, listen, I'm free on Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go food shopping. Come on with me. Then you can observe them. You might find out what they like to eat, what they don't like to eat, but you might see how they abuse the cashier because the cashier was off and this person cussed them out. And you say, oh, I don't want to be bothered with them. You see what I mean? Or you're walking through the supermarket or you're at the park walking and you see all the crackheads running up to the person you're trying to get with. You're a young lady, you think this guy is reputable. And all the crackheads run up to him. Hey, yo, you working, man? You got some things for me, man? Huh? What does that mean? He's selling drugs. Duh. But because he's doing them freaky things to you, you try the red flags. When you go back and look over, there were things that you ignored. And that's what I'm trying to say. There were things that you ignored. Next. Don't rush into sexual intimacy. Sex creates emotional bonds, but it also clouds judgment. When you get physically involved too soon, you overlook red flags. Did I just say that? You overlook red flags and stay in situations that are unhealthy. What happens when you ignore this? Unplanned pregnancies, sexually transmitted diseases and infections, or being emotionally attached to someone who never really cared for you. The momentary pleasure isn't worth a lifetime of consequences. And this is what people don't understand. With sexuality, you're creating bonds, you're creating soul ties. You think it's just a little pleasure thing, and this person's a glorified friction provider, and it's pleasure, and that's it. Even if you agree to get into the whole lust thing, it's like, listen, you agree and I agree. We're not in a relationship with each other. Right now, you're busy, I'm busy, but we need to, have that physical thing going on, and we can satisfy each other. And maybe down the line, if we renegotiate and see that we're really, no, you don't do that. Because you might be bonding with a demon. Or this person, usually the man, and no, the women do it too. Men manipulate. I'm not saying everybody who comes out the penitentiary, but you got guys come, man, I need me a good girl, man. Man, that girl over there, man, she got it going on, man. I bang on everything, but she don't make no money, man. See that girl over there? She pure. She ain't with nobody. She dressed nice. She go to work all the time. This guy's not bringing anything to the table, but he's scheming on her and her resources. So what does he do? He treats her so sweet. And maybe he admits he did some time, but he treats her so sweet. And maybe he gets some menial job. He's holding it together. Maybe his family lives with them or whatever, but he's working on her. Then he gets to the point to go and get between heaven's gates. But he's not going to get whipped by the heaven's gates. He's trying to whip her by it because she's not as shrewd and cunning and worldly as he is. So when he goes back to his friends, yeah, man, I put it on her, man. Man, it's about 3 weeks we've been seeing each other on that level, man. She told about giving me a key to her apartment. And now they're over there doing this. Oh, man, you good, man. Wow. I've heard this conversation so many times, and people just don't realize this. That it's not just the women whipping the men with sex. And it's not just a sex thing. Again, you're creating a bond. Like I always say, if the number 100 goes to the bed with number 50, it'll wake up. It's like, what happened? You average out with the person that you're with. You start talking like the person, using words like them. I mean, when you hang around a person, you can pick up their ways. When you have this sexual intimacy, it's not just, we had good orgasms, good sex, and that's it. Imagine this imaginary string, rope connected to them. Then you go lay with somebody else. There's another imaginary rope. So you wonder why people act like this bipolar thing, because it connected up to so many different people. And by the time you get with the person that you think you want or is good for you, you're still connected to these other people. That's what happens. I can see it on people. I live in extreme isolation now up in the mountains. When I go into town, I'm not saying I'm this great guru who can see everything, but you can pick up on a person who has multiple connections to other people, or they're a bit confused, or you can see their intentions right away. And sex is a weapon for a lot of people. It's weaponized sex. Fellas, when these girls throw down on you, man, and lots of times they start coming at you because they got bills. And because they gave you that, you're supposed to give them this in their mind. If I whip him, hard enough, he won't want to see me go. He won't want to lose this thing, and I'll be in. That's how folks think. That's how it is. Next point. Pay attention to how they treat others. A person who is rude to waiters, disrespectful to their parents, or dismissive of their friends will eventually treat you the same way. Kindness and respect should be consistent, not just shown when they're trying to impress you. Well, here comes the question. What happens when you ignore this? At first, you might think their bad attitude is directed at others, but over time, you'll see it directed at you. The same person who once showered you with affection can turn cold, controlling, or even abusive. Not just or even, they will be abusive to you. You know, they can hide their, and you got to wonder, like, why do they want me in their life? They treated me this way now. But you should have thought about that when you saw them treating other people a certain way, right? But you didn't think about that because they were treating you so nice, and you thought you were exempt from that treatment. A leopard doesn't change his spots, right? But you always feel, and I'm not saying like it's just a woman or man. And when I say you, I'm not saying this is anybody in the chat room, but we, and I'll include myself, we always tend to think, well, it won't be me. I'm special because this person told me I am. But if it's in there, it's eventually going to come out. It's like a thief. He's eventually going to steal from you. An abuser, he's eventually going to abuse you. But most oftentimes they manipulate because they want something out of you. You got to figure it out. See, I've said this on other topics, and I think it holds true for this show, that we often feel we can see what's inside the heart of other people and what they're about. But always remember, how do people see us? Not that you're hiding anything, but what is it that they see in you that makes them attracted to you? And are they attracted to you for something wholesome? Is it a wholesome thing? And if they're attracted to you for your wholesomeness, are they trying to use it in their behalf or for their behalf? And what are they bringing to the table? So this is why you have to have these conversations. This is why you got to date. There's no reason for you to sit here and meet somebody on Tuesday. I was going to say something nasty, but I ain't going to say it. But there's no reason for you to meet them on a Tuesday and you've been swapping crotch sauce by Thursday. All right. Now, there are exceptions to certain rules, right? I mean, not meeting them that quick, whatever have you. People reunite and sparks come up and you know certain things, whatever. And there are exceptions to rules, but no, not really. Not really. Not in this day and age. You got to be careful, y'all. Got to be careful. Make sure your goals align. Make sure your goals align. Do they want kids? Do they value marriage? Are they financially ambitious or content with mediocrity? If your visions for the future don't align, the relationship will eventually crumble. It won't work. What happens when you ignore this? You invest years into someone only to realize you want different things. Now you're stuck choosing between staying in an unfulfilling relationship or starting over when you could have avoided the pain by asking the right questions early on. That's just the way it is. And see, again, we can't blame anybody but ourselves. Look, how many times, and I can say this, not even about dating and relationships, but you see your reality, whatever your reality is right now, who's watching this show and who's watching in the future, depending on your age, if you're 30, go back 15 years or 10 years. If you're 40, go back 20 years, 25 years. Like me, I'm 62 in April. And if I go back 40 years, I'm 22 years old, right? At 22 years old, my reality was so different. My perception of the world was so different. What I expected the future to be was so different. Now my perspectives are so different. So when you're that age, just use me as an example. Say 22 to 62. At 22 years old, and I was wild, conservatively wild. I was that guy, well, he's a nice guy, whatever, but I was wild. Well, you would never know it. But I was still a good guy. I wasn't evil, doing crime, or nothing like that. Just breaking hearts sometime. But what I thought of the world was so different. And if I had to go back into my perception of the world then, aside from the conundrums that I got involved in, it would be like trying to fit into the outfit that you wore at 6 years old. I wouldn't fit. I'm more calm now. I know what I want. Days are satisfying to me. You don't have to wait 40 years to get to that point. You just have to know what it is that you're about. When you're younger, I was saying this in a condescending way, even to people who are 30 years old, and maybe some of them who are 40, who haven't got it yet. Because there's a lot of things that I have recently learned about myself that I didn't realize. And I'm over 60. And I'm just realizing these things. You know why? Because you are your own inner universe, your innerverse. And just because your body is just this small, don't think that your innerverse is small. As a matter of fact, we have more interaction with our innerverse than we do the universe. We can say, oh, 500 light years away. That's way, way far away, but you right here. And you walk with yourself all the time. So when you have yourself to yourself without distraction, you begin to learn yourself better. But the problem is we have so many distractions on social media, so many distractions. The youngsters, they got the phones now. They're not developing properly on how they feel about relationships and feel about life. The phone is one of the greatest things made, and it's some of the worst things. It depends how you use it. And the youngsters who are growing up on social media are so bombarded with other people's thoughts and how maybe they think that the world should be, and they emulate. You know, when you're young, you try to act cool, but you're still an open vessel, and you're still very pliable, very impressionable. So when push comes to shove, you don't even know yourself. Look, back in the 70s, they would have these Bruce Lee movies, the Chinese karate movies and stuff, right? Or when Rocky came out, everybody wanted to be a boxer. When the Bruce Lee movies came out, and after that, every broomstick in the neighborhood was in trouble because they cut it up, put the chain in, and had the new impressionable. But now when you see how social media, you don't have to go to movies now. You can sit at home. Oh, my baby nice. My baby good. Not baby, but teenager. They're always in their room. I don't have to worry about them. And they chatting with older folk, some young girl, 14 years old, chatting with some 40, 50-year-old man, and you don't know it. You don't know what's going on over your Wi-Fi, y'all. You better check it, because I've seen some situations that could have been prevented, but no, she would never do anything like that. The heck she would. Let's go into the next point, y'all. Be wary of people who move too fast. If someone is pressuring you into commitment, living together, or even marriage too soon, that's a red flag. Healthy relationships grow at a natural pace. Desperation and control should not be mistaken for love. Yeah, you see? Here's the question again. What happens when you ignore this? You find yourself trapped in a situation where you barely had time to think. By the time the reality sets in, you may already be entangled financially, emotionally, or legally, making it difficult to leave. You know how many people get involved with people who are desperate to hook up with them, and they didn't realize that the person is addicted to drugs, and they're not life. So they want to marry you. You got a nice home, and you have money and flow, and then you start realizing that things are missing from inside the house, or overdraft protection. They got access to your account, and they're pulling out money mysteriously. Like, why are you doing this? It just made everything bounce. You see? Or they go off for periods and can't explain why. You sitting up late at night and they don't call, they don't answer their phone. What were you out doing last night? You see them losing weight, whatever. But it doesn't happen that way when they have somebody to enable them. But you have people who want you to subsidize their drug habit, their gambling habit, their sex addiction. See? You may be a person who doesn't have as high of a sex drive, but you provide a home and provide everything, and you work a lot of hours. So guess what? You see that wet spot in the bed? It might not be yours. There's a lot of things going on that I've heard about, y'all. It's crazy out here in this world. Next. Love yourself first. If you don't value yourself, you'll settle for relationships where you're disrespected undervalued, or mistreated. Your relationship with yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. And those are facts. What happens when you ignore this? You accept toxic behavior because you fear being alone. You let people mistreat you because you don't believe you deserve better. A relationship should complement your life, not define your worth. Ooh, I gotta say that again. A relationship should complement your life, not define your worth. Too many people, and I've seen on this one, I gotta say it's a lot of women. Maybe it's not 99%, but it daggone sure is not as low as 51%. That beautiful young lady with so much potential and so much smarts that she doesn't think she's attractive. And we're not talking about outwardly attraction. She has that too, but there's that inner thing where she's such a lovely person, but she doesn't feel that. And because she was put down when she was younger in her household, not by brothers and sisters, but little snide remarks from the mother or snide remarks from the father. You know, you got parents that dislike their children, and the children know it. They don't just bust out, oh, I don't like you, I hate you. Some do. But the little comments that a mother may say to a daughter, and I've done shows on this, mothers who hate their daughters. Because the daughter or the son from the father, but I find it's a lot with mothers and daughters. I don't usually see the hate from fathers to daughters. Maybe the son maybe getting big and strong, and that father's intimidated because he's fearing getting older, and he sees, and he doesn't hate the son, but he's like a little resentment now because he's thinking, I can't overpower and control him. Maybe not righteously either. But sometimes you have mothers who, and I'm just going to say a certain example, right? For example, let me go through my vast, that's why my head's so big, yo. I got so much, so much data in the head, so much terabytes. I got a 10 terabyte head. But anyway, I've observed situations like, for example, say a mother who was born and raised in the Caribbean, but the mother's up in age, right? And she had it hard. She had to raise children. She had to go down to the lake and get water and walk it up 2 miles up on the mountain. And she had to work jobs, and maybe she wasn't educated, so she had to do a lot of physical work. But then she eventually moved to America, and her children were getting up in age, like from, you know, kids, whenever they come up. And the children now seize the opportunity with things that they can do, and they're getting smart, and they can make money without having to do physical labor. So while those children are still in the house, the mother punishes that daughter more so. Maybe all of the children. We're giving them these chores that are so hard when they should be studying. But she's resentful of the fact that if the children get this degree or learn the skill in a trade, that they'll be making so much money. And she'll remind them, yeah, well, you know, back in Jamaica, back in Trinidad, I didn't have it this easy. I had to be on the field, whatever. And there's some people who feel even those children will be made to feel that the value is not in using your mind, but you still have to get down and do all these chores, and they pass it down to their children. Yeah, you got to clean up your house. You can't just be on the computer and Google, how do I clean my house without getting up from, you know what I mean? You got to do stuff. But that parent will make it so hard and want to push it because of resentment of that daughter, the mother to the daughter. I'll speak on that one because I see a lot of that more so than ever, right? And she might even treat the sons better. I don't want to go off into a different topic, but I'm going to talk about that eventually also, because I do get a lot of communications on topics to speak about and things and little emails and messages. Why don't you talk about this? I'm like, I'm getting that again. I've spoken on that a lot in the past, and a lot of those shows I lost, but I see I'm going to have to talk about that again. Not that I know so much, but just from my experiences, you know, observing, because my parents are very nurturing and loving. And I thank the Creator for that, because how your parents treat you will impact your mentality. And then you get older and you settle for less in relationships because you don't feel like you're doing anything. And you can be, but it's how you feel about yourself. Look, There have been people who you look at and they're dirty looking and funny looking and they love themselves. Like, yeah, you can make fun of me all you want, but it's about number one. You know what I mean? They may not have the education. They may be working some job where they're not getting much at all, but they feel good about themselves. And I can't stress the importance of feeling good about yourself, putting yourself first. And people who come up with mothers like that or fathers like that, they put the children down. They're always looking for validation in somebody else. You don't need validation in nobody else. If you're great, you're great. And have good qualities, you have good qualities. And you ought to love yourself. This is why people have a problem with me. You ain't going to make me doubt myself. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You can't smash me. You might backstab me and throw me off a bit. But you're never, like I say, you're never defeated. You're only righteously detoured. So it's just a matter of time before I get back on track, because I know what I have inside of my heart and inside of my mind, and I know my value. You can say all you want. Waste your time. I know my value. Do you know yours? This way we have to face things. Let's get to the next point. A healthy relationship feels safe and stable. At the end of the day, the right person will bring you peace, not chaos. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, trust, and a shared vision for the future. What does a healthy relationship look like? You can communicate openly without fear. You support each other's personal growth. You feel secure, not anxious about where you stand. You make each other better, not worse. When the excitement of a new relationship fades, what remains should be a strong foundation of love, trust, and respect. Anything less is not worth your time. Dating isn't a game, and your choices have consequences. Every relationship you enter has the potential to shape your future for better or for worse. That's why it's crucial to move with wisdom, patience, and self-respect. Before you let emotions lead you into something that could turn into regret, take a step back and think, who is this person, really? Do they align with the life you want to build? Are they adding to your life or draining it? At the end of the day, love should enhance your life, not complicate it. The right relationship will uplift you, not weigh you down. Choose wisely, because one bad decision can last a lifetime. And that's the honest to God truth. And if it doesn't leave scars, it'll take years to heal from. It can take decades away from you. And you sitting up, I remember when I met this person, I'll never forget it. And you sitting in torment now. Damn it, I wish I was like 5 minutes later or earlier and didn't even meet them. And see, when it's all new and people are bringing their energies and putting their facades up, but I'm not trying to say that like it's always bad, because I've seen situations that were glorious, that added on to the person, that amplified them up even more. It wasn't just two people just acting as two people. They were synergistic. So their own personal focuses, even though they walked in tandem, were amplified because they had the support of this person and they supported that person. But you can have two people and end up with the energy of a half a person. Two people with the energy of one half of a person, because your energies are diametrically opposed to each other. And you ain't supposed, you can have great sex and not be compatible. Sex ain't everything. Some wonderful relationships may not have been the ultra swinging from the chandeliers type stuff. That's nice and everything. You got to talk about that also, so both of your needs are satisfied. But we too shy. We too shy to say what it is. You got to have that talk, not just about sex. When it comes time for that, you know, you gotta, if you gotta put it on a schedule or try to find out what you will do and won't do, because them won't do's, you may think, well, this is 95% great, but she won't do this or he won't do that. Those things will start tapping you middle of the night. Hey, she'll be nice to get this or get that at home. Then you start thinking, well, I got it all. Let me just, come home a little late sometime and make a little detour before I come home. You don't want that. You want to have it at home. So wait, date, get to learn the energies. And it's a process. Bring back marriage. People are like, oh, I ain't get married. I was married before and it was all jacked up. But you made a decision on your own and didn't do it right, chances are. That doesn't mean things are going to be bad later on. Dating, courting, engagement, and marriage. A process. You date and feel out the energy. There's no commitment and there's no sex. Courting is exclusive. I like this person. I want to go further with this person. We're going to be exclusive to each other. I'm not going to date anybody else. Engagement. Now it's serious. We decided we want to get married, but we're engaged now. And so now we're going to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And we can still back up when people say, oh, the engagement is off. You found something out that you should have found out in the courting and in the dating. It's like that hawk that up in the sky looking for the prey. So now you see somebody you like, you date them, but you don't just swoop down on them and just say, this is it. You get a little closer, a little closer, a little closer. You take your time. And you can take time. And really, you don't take too much time either. You got to make demands. You got to ask questions and be real. People can lie, but over time, with what they say and what you see in them, if it's two different things, there's deception. And if a person's not coming clean, look, all you want is a person to come clean. You will even deal with certain things that may not be favorable all the way. You're not compromising, but the fact that they were honest, you might be able to work with them in that particular area of their life. Maybe not. Maybe that's a deal breaker. We all have different dynamics and deal breakers. And don't let people influence you on what you have to decide in your life for the mate that you want and what satisfies you, because you got to live with them. Everybody got advice. And listen, here's another pet peeve of mine. Ladies who are looking to get married or looking to be more committed in a relationship, why are you going to ask these women who don't have a man? Now, maybe they might have wisdom because they don't have to have a man at the time. I understand that. They may have great wisdom from experience. I understand that. But these who are out there partying and finger popping and just never got above a certain level, they want to tell you what to do, probably because they want your man. Yep. You have some women or dudes, you have some men that come around you that want to break you up with that person because they want to get a shot at them, because for them, it's just lust and just physical. If you are right and real from within, you attract what you are. I had the most beautiful day Saturday, and I ran up and down, didn't have enough time to really do a show. That's not me, but I was so tired when I came back in. I was like, man, I was sitting in front of the computer, getting ready to set up, and this thing hit me. And I knew I had to get up. I didn't have enough time to even, I cut the computers off. And by the time I got on the other side of the studio, I was like, I got to lay down. And I don't remember hitting the pillow. Boom. I was out. So that's why it was like that. But I had the most beautiful day. I was centered. Everything flowed. I had somebody come here, give me an estimate. Of course, I'm not driving now. And it's a hassle sometimes. You know, you want to get downtown quick. So he came on a motorcycle. He was getting ready to go. I said, listen, man, you got 15 minutes? Because I hate to leave the house without quickly shaving, and or I could do a quick, you know what I mean? So he said, no problem. I got all the time in the world. He got on the phone. He sat out there, and I was glad to see him. And I got ready real quick. And so he rolled me straight down. Got down there quick. Okay, that was another plus. And I enjoyed the ride. I don't like motorcycles, but I enjoyed the ride. He was going kind of safe. So I said, let me get some B-roll, meaning that I was going to get some footage on my camera because the markets and the people, the colors are vibrant, the outfits, the energy. And it was early. I was like, wow. So I'm walking. I have this camera, little tiny thing. Nobody can see me. I'm not doing no freaky, sneaky stuff and trying to get girls' butts. And I mean, that happens, right? But I mean, that's not what I go out there for. So I'm walking, I'm painting on mine. I walk about 2 miles. I decided, I said, no, I don't want to go no further because it's a longer walk, because I want to get something to eat, right? Outside. I mean, I had the mangoes and stuff, but there's something that I wanted that's unique to Ghana, right? So I turned around again. It was in a little traffic hub by Medina Market. right? Where all the other vans go to other places. So I'm walking through the crowds. And so this one guy, this tall guy, this little short guy tapped and said, hey, he's got a camera. So the guy said, hey. So I ignored him. I said, well, probably he'll go away. I walked up to go on an overpass, and he was walking. He said, I want to talk to you, please. I'd like to talk to you. I knew what it was about. But he was one of the guys that wear these jackets, and they kind of regulate the vans that come through. Because sometimes you have vans in the park and loading up people, and you have other vans that are half full that swoop down and take the next people and run, which is not fair to the guys that are parked. So I said, okay, this guy got authority. So I said, how can I help you? He says, I see you have a camera there. I just want to know, why? It's like you're hiding. And so I said, listen, man, he came at me the right way. I said, listen, I do YouTube videos. I do this, I do that. I didn't have to tell him Jack. I could have been in New York or man, get away from me. But no, I didn't want to do that. He came at me as a man with respect. I said, I'm going to give him respect. Another guy came up. And so you know what? After I explained to him, we became the best of friends. He texted me today. He might be watching. Sadiq, brother Sadiq, and another brother sitting down, Abraham. Man, he loved what he saw. He was like, anytime you want to come down here and videotape, whatever, I run things here. Anytime you run into any problems, whatever. And I believe it because he does. And they were all coming to him. I don't know that you don't have this like this in New York or America where they have the van set up like that. But he was one of the guys things. And everybody knew him. The girls that sell stuff, they were just throwing him stuff to drink. And I'm like, man, this guy's running things. And he like, I love what you do, brother. You're not my friend. You're my family. I was like, wow. He took it, and I hung out there for like an hour. Right. And then I had to go because I was getting hungrier. I walked off. We switched numbers. He just texted me not too long ago. I'm checking up on you, man. I want to come up. So when he comes up, we sit down and we do a show. I want him to explain how he was a gentleman. It's all about how you approach people. So I like that. You know what I mean? So for the women out there, when you see a man operate like that, when he could have been aggressive, that's a good sign. He has control. It's a tall guy, big guy, younger than me, And I said, listen, if I acted to you a different way or said something, we could have been down on the ground fighting. Who wants that, right? And then I came up a little more, and I had to get a new cover for my cell phone, right? And so I was talking to the guy that I usually go to because I always go to him and give me good prices. He's a good guy. Another guy walked up. He had a very good speech, a black man around maybe my age. And we started talking. So he asked me, listen, how long are you going to be here in Ghana? I said, no, I live here. I said, this September, I would have been here for 5 years. He said, oh, wow. So we had small talk for a while. And he asked me my name. He said, man, we got to keep in contact. I said, man, there's something about you, man. You got integrity. I could see it on him. I said, you were raised up right. You got integrity. So he was, thank you. He said, there's something about you, man. You don't know what you have inside of you, man. You don't know there's so much more for you. And I said, well, thank you about that. So we exchanged numbers and I asked him his name. He said, Reverend so-and-so. I forgot the name, right? Off the top of my head, but he's a pastor. But I can tell you from now, he's not these jackleg guys out here. He had some family members in the car and he was coming to either get a cover or a wire or something like that. And he spoke so much into me. It was amazing. And I didn't get the feeling where he was trying to use me or whatever have you, but that was nice. Then the day just flowed. The day just flowed because I went out there with the good intention. I feel good. It's the happiest I've been in many, many years. I've always been happy. I'm just saying centered, in control, the enthusiasm that I have for what I do now is even more. I'm keeping it. I'm rope-a-dope. I'm not going to sit here and I'm like things the way they are right now. And I'm very happy. And whoever's going through stuff in their life, I just want to I'm going to wrap this down because we got Malik Aziz coming on in 40 minutes. Yeah. But he usually gives me a little call and stuff, and I got to prepare for that. And I got to go upstairs and do some things. But life is wonderful. I mean, when you get to that point, you go through things. Sometimes you go through some really bad, tough situations, and it's like a cloud where you don't see the sun. But like I always say, no matter how many clouds are over your life, the sun's always shining and it has rays for you. That's the way it works. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this down. I'll be back, even though it'll be Malik's show. And the guests that come on, it's going to be pretty good. A lot of Malcolm X clips and stuff that they're going to talk about. I always learn every time I get on the show. I'm running it, but it's their show, right? So I invite you all to come on in. Anyway, if anybody wants to come in and say anything, usually that's not always the case, but I always, okay, come on now, hit the right button. I didn't want to, one day I was doing a show, click the wrong button and click the show off. Let me see. There it is. There it is. It's a short one. And like I said, let me get the Substack link. Email addresses, y'all. Email addresses. Email addresses. I need the email addresses. If you want to get everything in your inbox, and even with the new platform, the videos that are put up, they're not embedded through YouTube. So if they want to snatch things down, they can do so, because it won't hurt me. That's what I love. Let me see. Let me get this link here. Open. Oh, no. I almost left the show. Can't do that. Can't do that. Not like that. We can't leave it this way. I just want to get this link. I'm going to always put this up. Okay, let me see. Let me drop it in. All right, here we go. There's the link coming right there. Copy and paste it. Click it. I don't think it's clickable. Depends on what platform it's on. But put your email address in there and you'll get everything, even the things that I don't put on YouTube. Because there's a couple things. I might record something in a little while. It's not going on YouTube. I kind of, YouTube has whipped on me so much. I feel like, what's the name? Tina Turner with Ike Turner. Like I'm ready to leave. You know what I mean? But I can't turn my back. I still have to broadcast stuff over here and everything. So it's all good. It's all good, like they say. But anyway, much love to you all. Take care. Lancescurv out, and we're on to the next one in the next little bit over 30 minutes. Okay. So come on back. I got to set that up. And tomorrow, at least 2 or 3 shows, I'll do uploads and different things. It's the beginning of the month, and I just want to come out roaring and talk about all these topics. So if there's anything you want to talk about, I don't care what it is. I don't care how touchy it is. I don't care how controversial it is. We're going to talk about it. All right. Much love to you all. Take care. Lancescurv out. On to the next one. Peace.